A growing international scheme is leaving a trail of wealthy victims across the country. Criminals call loving families and claim they're holding loved ones for ransom. Andrea Day investigates.
Tell me what you need. I don't know. Tell me.
This is an extortion call. The man on the phone is desperate to save his son's life.
Okay, calm down.
How real was it for you?
How real was it? It was someone had my son. Someone had my son, who I had heard crying and screaming in the background, covering his mouth with a gun to him.
30 minutes, he says, of complete terror. Jamie Heath had no idea he was being conned, but this is no ordinary hoax. An extortion scheme so paralyzing, the feds call it a violent crime. FBI Special Agent Eric Arbuthnot.
The victims also are wealthy architects, doctors, lawyers, professional people. Get the phone call, make the payment.
Heath is a music producer and lives in Los Angeles. Investigators say a recent target for the extortionists. He was inside his home when he got the call.
I hear him say, they're gonna hurt me, they're gonna shoot me, what are they gonna? And then while he's talking, I hear they're gonna shoot. And then I hear someone cover his mouth. Then someone grabs the phone and says, is this Nack's dad? Listen to me closely. How you respond in the next 20 seconds determine whether or not you see your son again.
So right from the start, you thought it was your son?
Oh yeah, it wasn't thinking it just was my son.
He rushed to his bank to withdraw cash.
I parked there in that driveway in there. I ran out frantically down the street here, ran into the bank through those glass doors.
Once inside, he got a text from his wife
that said, Nack is safe, he's at school.
That's when he finally called his son. According to the FBI, versions of the scheme have been around for about a decade. But it wasn't until recent years that agents made a startling discovery while pouring through victims' phone records. Arbuthnot says they found calls made to people across Beverly Hills were coming in from one place.
Our investigation has revealed, for the most part, these phone calls are being made by prisoners in foreign countries, mostly prisoners in Mexico.
So you're telling me that Mexican prisoners have this terrifying scheme down to a science?
Yes, yes. We're talking about thousands of phone calls over the last few years.
This is undercover video aired by the Mexican broadcast network Imagen. It was taken inside a prison in Mexico City. The people you see on the phone here are inmates, according to investigators, casually making cold calls right out in the open. So these prisoners are really hoping to strike it rich with these calls.
Absolutely. The whole point of this for them is to make money fast, make as much money as possible.
Yeah, plain leaves it.
The call to Jamie Heath, also from Mexico. Do you think you'll ever forget that experience?
No. No, because for me, those 30 minutes, my son was taken.
For Nightly Business Report, I'm Andrea Day.
We reached out to different agencies in Mexico for weeks with no response. The Mexican embassy told us U.S. authorities have not raised the issue during meetings with law enforcement, but the FBI told us they've been working with Mexican officials to come up with a plan to shut down this scheme. And the FBI says victims end up wiring money to Mexico or leaving it somewhere in the United States to be picked up. Bottom line here, if you get one of these calls, they say you should just hang up.